This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Want to watch this episode? Check it out on my YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/@lanternslive. Welcome to Lanterns Live, the only live stream YouTube channel dedicated solely to the Green Lantern universe. I'm Ralph, and we are live. It's Wednesday at 3:16 Pacific time. And just as I started the stream, we got a trash truck outside. So if you hear that, my apologies. Nothing I can do about that. It'll go away real soon. So yeah, I was going to try something a little bit different today. I was going to actually try to do a stream using OBS, which will have allowed me to see the public chat as you guys see it and display the public chat. There's a little bit more that I have to do with that. So I decided I'm just going to do it the regular way. So I have my phone open down here because the one thing that Riverside doesn't do that I would really like it to do is show me if I get super chats or anything like that. And also, like when I hit this and sometimes it doesn't display the name, which I don't like. You guys are here. You might as well be recognized. And, we want to see your lovely avatars pop up down below. So I'm going to be working on OBS in the upcoming week. And maybe sometime next week, I'll just do an impromptu live stream. So be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified when I go live, so you don't want to miss out. So today I decided we've had a couple of days to sit on it, and I want to chat about Hal Jordan. What do you guys say? Let's talk about Hal Jordan. For those of you that haven't watched the episode yet, I would say, you know what? I would normally say just turn away and head somewhere else, but I don't mind getting the views and the watchers. So if you want to hit mute or just get spoiled, I feel like anybody who's a Green Lantern fan who's visiting my channel has probably watched Lanterns by now. If not, what are you waiting for? It's got like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. People are over on Threads chatting about it. If you're not following me on Threads, do so at Lanterns Live. And let's chat about Lanterns. If you don't like Threads, just come here. We're chatting about Lanterns all the time. Eldon says, "House fine. He'll have to walk it off." LOL. Hey, Sonny, how's it going? He looks pretty dead. If that's Hal Jordan sitting on that bench, he's dead. But is it Hal Jordan? That's the question. Is it Hal Jordan? Hal's just taking a nap after the PB&J food fight with the sheriff's son. Interesting. Could be. Could be. I'm doubtful that the actual Hal is properly dead. Do you have theories? I want to know theories because my theory is he's dead. That's all I got. Tom King and Damon Lindelof have been doing a lot of interviews, and they make it sound like it was a big decision to kill off Hal Jordan. Now, if they made themselves a way to wiggle out of that situation, great. But ever since the casting of Kyle Chandler and people saying he was too old, people were really concerned that he was going to die in the show. Now, did we think he was going to die in the first episode? I don't think so. But there's a lot of story to tell because what we are seeing is 2026. So we still have like 10 years worth of stories where Hal Jordan's still alive. I don't think race has anything to do with it. Um, you know, I think John, for a lot of people who are um, a little bit younger than me, John Stewart is people's Green Lantern. That's the one they think of as Green Lantern because of the Justice League cartoon and Justice League Unlimited. Back in 2011, when Ryan Reynolds was announced to play Green Lantern, a lot of people on Twitter would say, "I thought Green Lantern was black," and that's what a lot of people thought back then. And now it's probably 50-50. So I don't know if color has to do with anything. I feel like it's just something that they wanted to move forward with John front and center, and I believe they've said that the whole time. As far as Hal being dead, I think there's a clue in the hologram. We've established that we can see versions of Hal at different points in his timeline. But it looks like unless he's updated it since, it looks like Hal hasn't updated his hologram past 10 years prior to 2016. That's the thing that's like sort of getting tough with the show, is that there's so many timelines we're playing with here. And we've seen a glimpse of John in 1996. And so we need to start filling those gaps as well. Like, what's up with John's dad? That's something I want to know. And I'm going to bring up this question in a second. So many possibilities, but no idea. Also would have thought the middle finger would be more scarred due to the ring. Didn't seem like it's with dead Hal. Yeah, it looked pretty not there. Not there. Also, if Hal died, right? Let's say Hal got shot in the head on those bleachers. Done. First thing that's going to happen is the ring's going to fly off and go to a replacement. So how do we know that it didn't go to a different person besides John? We all know John's in Man of Tomorrow, so, I mean, we're assuming he's Green Lantern in Man of Tomorrow. So where did the ring go? Did someone take the ring? Did the ring go to somebody else? I don't think the ring went to Guy, because Guy has a different ring. Guy's rings looks like this instead of like this. And Guy had the ring in 2025. And I don't think that Hal Jordan was sitting there dead for a year. So where's Hal's ring? That's what I want to know. And if there was only one lantern at a time, why is Guy a ring at the same time as Hal? Let's see. To get that close to Hal and have a kill shot, he would have had to know and trust that person. Yeah, and also, like, the ring has, this is in the books, has capabilities of when, like, a Green Lantern is unconscious, it'll have ways to protect the ring bearer under situations. So I feel like even if Hal trusted someone and someone came that close with a gun, he would have been able to put up a bubble quick enough. Because in the trailer, we see Paul Van Victor and his guys with guns start shooting Hal, and he immediately gets a bubble on before a bullet hits him. Could be a shape-shifting alien disguised as Hal, maybe to lure in John. I wouldn't mind seeing Kyle Chandler as a Spectre. I don't think race has everything to do with it, honestly. I honestly don't. I think John is a major Green Lantern in the public eye, and they chose John. Like, they didn't pick Guy because he was white. Like, I think James Gunn picked Guy because at the time of Superman, before Lanterns, and basically for the last 15 years, Green Lantern has been a joke. In the public eye, Green Lantern is a joke. And so to bring Green Lantern into the DCU, I feel like James Gunn was like, well, if Green Lantern's a joke, why don't we bring in the Green Lantern that's actually kind of a joke, which is Guy Gardner, and sort of have Green Lantern be laughed at, like we're laughing with James Gunn and Green Lantern by laughing at Hal, or laughing at Guy. I think Guy was chosen because he is kind of a joke, and people's perception of Lanterns are as a joke. Yeah, I don't know, Raiders, man. You're thinking way too much into this. I agree. King said it went to Gardner in the podcast, but the thing is there's an overlap, right? So has Hal not had the ring since before 2025? The mechanism to keep Hal Jordan around, the hologram, was already introduced in the first episode. That's how Hal stays around. Yeah, because we've definitely seen footage in the trailers of Hal Jordan that we haven't seen yet. Sometimes he looks older, which I believe is probably the continuing story of the 2016 timeline. And then we've seen a younger Hal with John on like seemingly another planet, where he looks younger. And I'm assuming that's the hologram. Yeah, let's get some Kyle Rayner in there. Chris and Ralph are here. How you doing, guys? Been loving your coverage of Lanterns. Everybody should go check out Chris and Ralph production. There's not a lot of Ralphs out there on the internet, so definitely go hang out with a fellow Ralph and check out their coverage of everything, comics and pop culture. They're great. Let's see. King could be lying. Yeah. Wouldn't the ring change upon the user, or would the ring stay the same for everybody? Usually the ring just stays the same. Again, we're dealing with a different type of sort of continuity than the comics. There's some things in the show that are definitely different than the comic books. So I'm not sure if the ring, when it went from Abin Sur to Hal, if it changed, and if it went from Hal to Guy, it also changed. That I don't know. On the Lanterns pod, they said Guy has Hal's ring. It doesn't look the same though, so it must. They're going to have to explain it for sure. Okay, so this is something I want to bring up. Darren brings up a good point. I don't know much about John's background, but it sure looks like he's been set up to be a Lantern since he was a baby, judging by some of the in-season previews. Yes, we do see what appears to be a Guardian talking to John's mom, and John is a baby. This is something I want to bring up. So, in episode 1, John Sr. takes John to the back and shoots an apple on his head and asks him the one question, are you afraid? Now, are you afraid is something that Hal said for the first time on the television broadcast that John's dad definitely didn't see. So how does John's dad know about the question, are you afraid? That's what I want to know. Because we know John's dad didn't watch that broadcast. And back in the 90s, they usually didn't do reruns of that kind of thing. And it looked like it was the first airing. It wasn't taped. Otherwise, John would have watched it earlier. So it was a broadcast. It was a live broadcast of Hal Jordan's interview. And in it, he explains the ring only asked one thing: "Are you afraid?" And then, like minutes later, they're in the backyard and John's dad's asking John if he's afraid. Something's up with the backstory for sure. Let's see here. How the hell Hal Jordan get killed by a bullet if that's Hal's writer completely failed? I don't know if the writers failed. I think they wanted to tell a story. Um, he didn't have a ring. He didn't have a ring. Can't really protect yourself with the ring, if you don't have it. Has the ring been taken or is it being protected? I don't know. We don't know yet where the ring is, but he didn't have it on. Whether if he got shot in the head, like while he still had the ring on, that's weird because the ring would have protected Hal. But if he didn't have the ring, that's it. He got shot in the head. Kristen Ralph Productions. I grew up with Justice League Unlimited, and John has always been my Green Lantern. Exactly. There's a whole generation of people who John is their Green Lantern. And the thing is, like, we've never had a live action John Stewart. So I believe it's just the time for that. I think the ring might be hidden in the lantern that John is carrying. Yeah, we see John with the power battery lantern a lot in the trailers, and we don't see it with Hal. Even though there was a picture that James Gunn released before, I believe, the second trailer or the second teaser of the trailer, where it looked like Hal was holding the lantern power battery in his lap and charging his ring. But that's the only time I think we've seen Hal with the power battery. Yeah, room smack. That's what I'm talking about. I find it interesting that John Sr. already knew what Abin Sur asked Hal before Hal told the public in 1996. The bullet holes on their shed are like a growth chart. So he's been doing this for a while. So it seems like he's known. And it wasn't even Abin Sur that asked Hal the question. It was the ring. So basically, in Hal's story, he was laying in bed. Was he laying in bed? Where was he at? He was enveloped by a green glow, and he said the ring asked me one question: "Are you afraid?" Hal said, "Not afraid, dude." And then it transported him to Abin Sur. So why does John know this stuff back then? Or John's dad, John Sr.? What do you think? What do you all think of the theory that the Guardians chose John Sr. as the initial candidate? I think you're onto something. That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. You're onto something. It's almost like you want to die, Hal Jordan. He's yeah. Hal's. It feels like Hal's has a death wish, like in the 2016 storyline. And I don't know what's going on since then. I don't know if the show is going to go from 2016 and just continually go all the way to 2026. I think that's interesting. Why is Hal still in his 2016 clothes? Oh, so I didn't even notice that. Is he in the exact same outfit? And has he been living in Rushville this whole time? How do you shoot a lantern? Too many questions for this to be cut and dry. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I want to bring this one up too. There was a behind the scenes thing where we saw the 2026 John with the goatee sitting in a diner with Hal, like older Hal. Not, I don't know if they shot Kyle Chandler regular and then de-age him. So I don't know if it's the sort of hologram. But yes, we have seen that, and that's interesting too. And if that's 2026, are either of them a Green Lantern? Because 2025, we know Guy Gardner's a Green Lantern. We know that. Unless, I'm pretty sure Superman takes place in 2025. Unless Gunn has said something else, like it takes place in like 2027, like this doesn't make sense. AI Hal will stay around when John gets his own GL movie. AI Hal will be an occasional advice giver to John. That would be great. If we can get more Kyle Chandler, that's great. Assuming he's dead, that would be nice. Yeah, that could be really fun. It would feel almost like Firestorm. I took King's comments to mean that Guy has Hal's job, his ring, not so much literal piece of jewelry. Yeah, that's tough. People are saying John Sr. was chosen. Then why isn't he Green Lantern? I found it interesting when John's dad asked Little John what his name was, referring to Hal. Yeah, because I feel like this is the first time that Hal went public. And even though the dad, John Sr., didn't want the boys watching the show, still has an interest in the Green Lantern. Interesting. I bet John was chosen before Hal. You talk about John Sr. I think Little John, Baby John, obviously I don't think could have been. Raiders, I'm gonna tell you, man, dude, just you made your point. A lot of us disagree with it. You don't have to keep hammering it home. All right. We're not talking about race here. So just either talk about other stuff or just move on. I don't need the views that bad. I think Darren's spot on. I agree with Darren. Okay, yeah. So you're talking about John Sr. Yeah, Peter Pohl. I'm starting to agree with you guys. Starting to agree with you guys that it's John's father was chosen by Abin Sur's ring, and he said he was afraid. That's very, very, very. It's a very good point. Cloned Avengers in the chat. How you doing? It's good to see you. We're just casually chatting about lanterns. We've had a couple of days to sit on it, and anybody has any thoughts to talk about Yeah, let's keep the chat going. I'm getting a lot of chat members in here. And also I want to say, like, hey, listen, I've been doing this show for 2 years, and I've had a lot of support from like Will at Green Lanterns Podcast, Vactor at This Comic Cooks, Lucha Johnny from Geek the F Out, Chris Plastic from Shiny Plastic People, Jay from Geek Dad Life. We've talked to writers of the comics. We've talked to composers of Green Lantern the Animated Series. We've had a bunch of guests, Ceremony Cosplay, Ryan Dole from Gotham City Tonight. There's, for the last little over 2 years, I've been building this channel, and about a week after I started this channel, they announced that Lanterns was greenlit for HBO Max. They were finally going to make it. And it's been a really, really long ride building the page. I've been having a great time just chatting about Lanterns every week, usually on Wednesdays, sometimes on different days. But I'll tell you what, with the trailer, the Lanterns trailer, my viewership started going up. People started coming and watching my streams. People started liking and hyping my videos. People have been subscribing to the Honor Guard by clicking join here on YouTube. And these last couple days have been really, really good for the channel. And I just want to thank you guys for swinging by. This is kind of a positive place to be. And that's why I prefer chatting about the positive stuff and not dwelling on things that might come off as negative. If there's stuff you don't like, there's stuff we can talk about. I'm open to talk about anything. There's no need to be toxic or just try to needle your point. This isn't a contest, and we're just here to have fun and chat about Green Lantern. There's not a whole lot of Green Lantern fans in my life personally. So this channel is a way to have fun conversations about Green Lantern. So thank you for joining me. And enjoy keeping it light. People keep saying they're crapping on Hal, but he's right every time. He's like this in the comics. He is. We haven't really seen Hal sort of this old. Back in the 90s, Green Lantern #1 from 1990, Hal Jordan was old and was contemplating his life. Grant Morrison's run felt like it was an older Hal sort of also contemplating his life. I feel like we're getting that style of Hal Jordan. Not Hal in his prime, even though with the hologram in from, it would be what, 2006, he feels more like the Hal we read in the comics. And so something's happened between 2006 and 2016 where Hal's become more jaded, and I'm really curious to see why. But I feel like Kyle Chandler is really, really doing a good job at playing like an older Hal. Eldon. What if Hal refused to give up the ring so the Lanterns, or probably the Guardians, made a new ring and sent it to Guy once Hal died? The OG ring automatically went to Guy. Could be. New Firestorm comic is sick, by the way. This is interesting. Who do you think Macon's NDA is with? My guess is Hector Hammond. He's getting a lot of focus in the Absolute Comics. For me, I'm assuming it's kind of with the government or somebody of high status. I believe when Hal Jordan said that Abinsur's ship crash landed 20 miles or 20 minutes like outside of Rushville, basically he said that while sitting at the bar. He said like 20 miles or 20 minutes from here. I have a feeling Abinsur's ship crashed on Macon's ranch, and the ranch went up around it, and he's using that ranch to protect whatever remnants of Abinsur's ship are. We've seen some sort of alien tech in the trailers being used by guys who look like they are part of Macon's militia. So that's what I'm thinking. Abinsur's ship crash landed in Nebraska. Someone bought that land. Macon is the caretaker of that ranch. I don't know who bought that land or who's using that. Whatever Abinsur left behind, whoever's using that is sort of the person with the NDA. Could be Hector Hammond. Hector would be cool. LexCorp would be an easy option. This sounds like stuff that like Rick Flag's doing with Salvation. I could see them. What is it, Argus? Maybe, possibly being involved, because I know that the Salvation storyline in Peacemaker has something to do with lanterns. So I could see Argus be involved somehow, and maybe William Macon is working for Argus. The Honor Guard hasn't come up in the show, but that could explain like the rings. My guess is Hal didn't give up his ring on time, and John probably pissed off the Guardians, so the Guardians crafted a new one for Guy. Interesting. I think John Sr. is too mentally unwell to be chosen. I think he might be unwell because maybe he was chosen and denied it. That's a really good theory. I like that one. Maybe. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of John's mom yet, but we are only in episode 1. So we'll get another whole slew of things to talk about next week. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more into John's backstory and see what's up with his dad. Yeah, we didn't see John's sister in this, which is different than the comics. There's a lot of wacky aliens, even Supergirl. There's a ton of aliens in Supergirl. I wouldn't mind seeing some aliens show up in this show. But so far, nothing. We know we're going to get Sinestro. That'd be nice to see soon as well. Chris and Ralph. I remember doing a Lanterns Theory video a year plus ago saying that Hal and John were going to investigate Guy's murder, but it's actually Hal's. Close enough. Agreed. Thoughts on the Macon family being corpses that Black Hand brought back to life? I think there's Black Hand weaponry in this show. We did see in the trailer William Macon's people shooting these rifles that shot out black smoke. And that reminded me of Black Hand's, what is it called? The something rod. Black Hand's rod that shoots a smoke out that disables Green Lantern rings. So maybe Black Hand is involved. Blessed to have come across your channel due to the show. I'm glad everyone's here. I'm really happy. Will from Green Lanterns podcast, me and him have been talking about like sort of Sunday for like almost like a year and a half, almost 2 years now, talking about, man, just wait. Because the channel got a bump after Superman because of Guy Gardner. And anytime I posted anything with Nathan Fillion and we talked about Nathan Fillion, the numbers would go up and we get a lot more people coming to the channel. And now with Lanterns, we're like, here's our chance to like sort of shine. I was hoping to get like a bigger following in time for like the Lanterns press junkets, because I want to talk to Aaron Pierre and I want to talk to Tom King and James Hawes and Chris Mundy, Damon Lindelof, Aaron Pierre, Kyle Chandler, Dillahunt, all these guys, Jason Ritter. I want to talk to all of them on the show, but I don't think that DC or Warner's really notices me, even though like I'm one of few like actual like Green Lantern channels. But I'm hoping that like thanks to this show and the viewership is up and people are coming and enjoying it and saying nice things, that hopefully by the time of season 2 rolls around, I'll be one of those guys sitting in the chair across from the cast and crew asking questions on behalf of Green Lantern fans. There's a lot of outlets out there that are interviewing these people, and you can tell they're just reading off of cards. And basically, they've seen they say something like they've seen the first 7 episodes, or they've seen so many of the shows, and they're just asking questions about the show. Where here, with a guy like me, if I'm sitting across the seat from like Aaron Pierre, I mean, I'm asking him questions based on him, based on the character from Justice League Unlimited, asking him questions about the comics, and asking him like specific questions that Green Lantern fans want to know. I don't see that coming out of any of the press stuff. I think Brandon Davis, who is a big time comic fan, check out BD's stuff. He had a really great interview with Tom King and Damon Lindelof. But I want someone there who is like a Green Lantern fan asking these guys the questions that Green Lantern fans want. So I would love to be there. I think Will should be there. Lantern Cast should be there. Chris and Ralph, like anyone who's like a DC fan, I'd like to see get over there. I'm fascinated by the Manhunter inclusion. It could be a clever misdirect. I don't know, man. When the first time I heard them say Manhunter, I was like, oh boy, this is definitely a Green Lantern show. Because that first teaser, people were like, this doesn't feel like a Green Lantern show. There's no green. It feels like True Detective, where like we didn't see anybody wearing a Green Lantern uniform. It was just hanging in a closet. So it's like, is this even going to be a Green Lantern show? I think after the first issue, we can all say that it is. Like Hal Jordan name dropping 2814, Abin Sur, talking about Guardians, John being in Coast City. All of this stuff is stuff that Green Lantern people know. So it feels like a Green Lantern show. But if there's a Manhunter involved, great. Hal hears Manhunters and thinks of Sector 666, but perhaps the shapeshifter is a Manhunter of a Martian variety. Maybe. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, that's a lot to bring up, is Martian Manhunters. I mean, it all is. But the fact that you bring up Sector 666, I mean, we're dealing with 2026, 2016, 1996. Hologram was downloaded in 2006. A lot of sixes in there. Man, Ralph, every time you talk about not having GL fans in real life, it hits home and sounds familiar with my own life. Dude, Green Lantern is not like... he's not on the same level as Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman. He's not one of those characters that everybody knows. And if they do know about Green Lantern, it's because Ryan Reynolds is picking at the scab of 2011's Green Lantern movie, whether it be in Deadpool 1 or 2 or just in social media. So Green Lantern's not like the most popular character. The good thing about this show, not my show, but Lanterns, is that it's going to start making Green Lantern fans. So there's someone at work, my friend at work, who actually is a Green Lantern fan. He's a big fan of Alan Scott. And then another one of my coworkers, based on my recommendation, because she watched Lanterns, asked me more about like Green Lantern stuff. And I said, if you want to watch something real quick to get a sense of Hal's origin, what Green Lanterns actually are outside of this show, to check out First Flight, Green Lantern First Flight. And she watched First Flight, and great, perfect. It gives her a sense of a really quick, concise thing of Hal's origin, Space Cop, Sinestro, the Yellow Lantern Corps, and all that stuff. And then I suggested that she also watch Green Lantern, the animated series, just because it's an amazing show. And so for me, it's like I can already see in my own life, because of Lanterns, people are starting to watch it that I know, and I'll be able to chat. I'll have a lot more Green Lantern friends who are fans in my personal life. So, but I'm not going away. I'm not leaving Lanterns live because, uh, uh, you know, I'm getting more Lanterns fans in my life, and this show is huge. It's huge for Lantern fans, just because anybody who watches the show and wants to know more, they're going to start reading the books. Everyone's going to suggest they read like Secret Origins, Rebirth, Hard Traveling Heroes, Showcase 22. Like, all people are going to start reading more Green Lantern, and there's just going to be more diehard Green Lantern fans out there who are actually going to see what Green Lantern's all about. For everyone, for every fan who's bitching and complaining that this is a grounded show, that it takes place in a small town and doesn't follow the rules, it's fine, because it makes it accessible to more people. And the more people that get exposed to Green Lanterns, whether if it's in this, even if it's in this small capacity, all those people are going to go pick up Far Sector, the compact comic of Far Sector. They're going to start reading more books and watching more Green Lantern, the animated series, and watching First Flight, and watching New Frontier, reading New Frontier, checking out Emerald Knights. Hopefully not Beware My Power. I think that there's nothing good about that one. But you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of nice to actually be on a positive end of a Green Lantern experience, as opposed to the negative one that we've had for the last 15 years with the Ryan Reynolds film. So I'm stoked. More Green Lantern fans. We need them. Let's see. I'm so far behind. Frozen Dead Hal is a decoy to draw out the bad guy. I feel like the season will end with John getting his own ring. I hope it's not a trap, not just to draw out a bad guy, but I hope it's not a trap for John. Because if you have two Green Lanterns sitting there in the same spot without a ring, bad guys are going to be going after you. I heard in an interview episode 3 is John's backstory. You heard correctly. Episode 3 is John's backstory. How is it only Wednesday? Eldon, on Tuesday, I was shocked at how many people were viewing my stream from Sunday, and I was like, man, that's pretty great. That's pretty great for, a week of the video being up there. And then I realized it was only Tuesday. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like less than 2 days. Isn't there 2 lanterns per sector or something? Yes. In the comic books during the Jeff Johns run, the Guardians took the 3,600 sectors and then created double the rings so that each sector would have 2. But it doesn't sound like that's set in motion in this show. So maybe by the end of the show, the Guardians will allow there to be more than one lantern. Vandal Savage would be great behind the NDA. There is yellow in Hal's ring. Perhaps the older rings are tainted. Maybe. Maybe that's what's making Hal so sort of shitty. So maybe they make a new ring for Guy that doesn't have yellow in it, or they clean it, or get that out of there. I don't know. Yes. So I saw this too. Lindelof, Mundy, King really telling us, Hal fans, to wait until episode 8. Esvin Grace Randolph is saying it. I'm just enjoying the ride. Yeah. David Lindelof, I heard talk about this, saying like, let's listen. Everyone's going to be upset now, but just wait until episode 8 before you start showing up with torches and pitchforks. So, yeah. Gunn said Lantern sets up a greater story in the DCU. It has to be in Blackest Night. It seems soon, but I'd love to see Blackest Night. I'd love to just see a Sinestro Corps War. And you guys are really responding in here. Yeah, that's the thing. Hal Jordan was a major part in building the Justice League Watchtower, and then also like at the end of Superman, we barely getting the finishing stages of the Hall of Justice. So it's going to be a while before the Watchtower. So things are going to be a little bit different. Yeah, a lot of people know John from the Bruce Timm one. So this is going to melt your brain a little bit if you don't know already. Hey man, what are you expecting from the second episode? I don't know how to answer that because I've seen the second episode. Green Lantern the animated series is as good as you remember. It's really good. And if you want to know more about Manhunters, the second half of Green Lantern the animated series is great. We have Lantern Season 1, Guy and Mr. Miracle Show, John and Man of Tomorrow, animated Jessica Cruz in My Adventures with Green Lantern, and Eventual Lantern Season 2. Well, let me just say something. I liked the movie Supergirl. I thought it was entertaining. I really enjoyed it. I liked that it was a different tone than other comic book movies. It didn't feel like they were using a lot of the same cliches or tropes. That being said, Superman was pretty much a hit. Lanterns seems to be a hit. People loved Peacemaker Season 2. Supergirl is the only one of those projects that didn't have Guy Gardner. So is Nathan Fillion the key? Would Supergirl have been a hit if Guy Gardner was in Supergirl? Would have been a hit if Guy Gardner was in it. LexCorp might be behind the NDA. That'd be great. It would be a great way to tie in the DCU. I don't need everything to be sort of interconnected, but if they do, I think that would make sense. They should get Del Toro to direct and make some of the Alien practical than cartoons. Yeah. I mean, there was all kinds of like practical aliens in Supergirl. I feel like I could use more of that. Just give me some aliens in Lanterns. Evidence drives him to go against the Guardians. Hal finds this all out in 2006, and the deception drives him into cynicism. I mean, maybe between 2006 and 2016 is when his mentor Sinestro kind of goes bad. And maybe he's like, well, Sinestro has some good points. And so maybe he's jaded by the Guardians. Maybe he feels like Sinestro didn't deserve to be in prison. Maybe he doesn't respect that Guardian's choice. And so maybe he stopped respecting the uniform and got rid of it, but still has reverence for Sinestro, so he wears the uniform when he goes and visits Sinestro. Could be it. If we only get to see one alien outside of Sinestro, a Green Lantern, what would you most like to see? For me, it's Tomar-Re. I love Tomar-Re. Tomar-Re is one of the first alien lanterns you see outside of Abin Sur in the comics. He's the first alien outside of Abin Sur that you see in the Ryan Reynolds movie. I'd really like to see Tomar-Re. I think because he is the Green Lantern of Sector 2813, which is where Krypton was when, and Tomar Ray was the Green Lantern when it exploded. So I think you could have a nice tie-in with Superman, Supergirl, and Lanterns by including Tomar Ray. Ralph, I think you're onto something with the 666 connection, connecting to the dates. Could be, why do we think John is in prison in Rushville? So no one's really bringing the fact that I said I've seen episode 2. But I know by the time you see episode 7, you will know this answer. So if you want to know if Lanterns is a good show or not, I'm gonna say yes. For a guy who's seen 7 of the 8, I can say yes. It's very, very good. And the quality of the show will continue from what we saw a couple of days ago. I think people are going to like it more as it goes on. I think it's going to sort of quiet the haters. I think we're in for a good ride. I know we see Kilowog often, but I'd love to see how he performs within this type of show. I'd love to see that as well. The answer to this is yes. I think the current comic run is great. I think Jeremy Adams has been doing a great job writing. I'm not keen on the type of stories he's telling currently with Kyle Rayner. But I know it's been on the uptick because he's going back to a more 90s style Green Lantern book, which is fine. But we were so spoiled with like Jeff Johnson, Venditti, and Morrison and stuff that it's like I kind of want to get back to those galactic things more. I am 100% lucky. This isn't, yeah, I'm lucky. I know it. But you guys are going to be lucky too in the coming weeks. John isn't going to be framed for Hal's death, is he? I don't think so. I mean, the sheriff basically found Hal, or the groundskeeper found Hal, and Sheriff Carey has been there for however long it took John to get to Rushville. So I don't see how he could have been, yeah. Well, since you saw 7 episodes, just try to geek out excited as you felt while, yeah. I'm not going to say anything. I think fans will be happy for sure. Yeah, there is good action. If you've seen the trailer, like, yeah, you're gonna get good action. Nice. I want to get back into the comics. Yeah, start with Jeremy Adams' run. Go back to Green Lantern 1. I highly recommend if it's there's not as far into the run now because Green Lantern is in issue 38 next week, which I'll be covering with Will a week from now. And then Green Lantern Corps, which we just finished issue 19. So Green Lantern Corps is really good too. That pretty much covers like John and all the other Lanterns like Jessica, Simon, Joe, Ellie, Kelly, and like Larfleeze and St. Walker and Atrocitus and Sinestro. So if you want to check out Green Lantern Corps, that's been really good as well. So I highly recommend those as well. His suit looked more like a bronze looking suit. I guess a little on the yellow side, but it looks like they changed the coloring since the second trailer. So I'm not really sure if we're getting parallax or not. But if we get parallax, at least that means more Kyle Chandler, huh? So basically, this is what I've been doing. Um, Back in May, I saw the first four. And so I basically have been, if anybody asks me a question, what I do is either I don't know the answer to it because I haven't seen the full thing, or I'm in the headspace of, right now, I'm in the headspace of what we saw on Sunday. I may know the answers, but if someone asks me a question specifically about Sunday, my head goes to, what was I thinking the first time I watched that first episode? So you're getting my genuine thoughts after seeing the first episode, and that's pretty much all I've been giving anybody. That lady ends up being a Star Sapphire, doesn't she? Are you talking about Sheriff Carey? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Oh, hey, John. My opinion about the show currently doesn't matter. I'm here for Ralph until the end, since Stormlar's at heart. Yeah, I've been doing this for 21 years. And Lanterns Live has been like the most like viewed thing. And for 4 years, I did a show called the Kaiju Podcast with Jorge Garcia from Lost. If you like Godzilla and stuff, go check out that show. I've done with my friend James every episode. I've covered every episode of Invincible. You go see Invincipod. I've covered a bunch of Star Wars with James. Just BS with my friend Kevin on All Right, Let's Do a Podcast. Like, there's just a lot of me out there. So if you go to CasinoSkunk.com, you can see what all my shows are. I haven't seen True Detective, but I might after I'm done watching Lanterns. If you've seen 7 episodes, can you give us a tease at how many times your mind has been blown by a twist? Well, I'll tell you what. When I first heard Paul Van Victor's character say Manhunters, I audibly like gasped. And if you watched me do the trailer reaction, and it's so stupid because I knew all this stuff was coming, but I still got emotional. But yeah, hearing Manhunters being said on an HBO show is nuts. And people need to remember that. Like, did you ever think you would have a live action Green Lantern that talks about Manhunters? I don't think that's something I ever thought would happen. And so like there's stuff like that. Hearing Hal describe his first interaction with Abin Sur is probably one of my favorite things in the series, just because as a lifelong Green Lantern fan, I never thought once that I would ever hear the telling of the Abin Sur story. And then the way like Kyle Chandler delivers it is so perfect, and it gives me chills. So you're going to get a lot of stuff like that. I'll tell you. Yeah, his suit's definitely greener in the past. We'll see how the suit looks when it's hanging on the in the closet. We'll see if they've changed that. There was some event where they referenced Hal being a disgraced lantern in the preview. I wonder what event that is. I'm not sure. Show some fingers on the times you were like, wow, a number is in the spoiler, buddy. I just it's I mean, listen, there was like just watching Sunday. Like how many times were you like when Hal gets slammed up against the wall and he's smiling at John, like that moment was amazing. Um, um, seeing Hal take off from the taco stand, like these are all things that are like it's Green Lantern, like it's Hal Jordan, and so every time Aaron Pierre does something or Kyle Chandler does something, like I'm in awe. Like they're so perfect. Oh, this is your first time here? Thanks. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon because today's stream wasn't scheduled at all. It just happened, so you'll want to know when I go live. Been watching the interrogation scene a million times. The mirror foreshadowing Carrie as the alien manhunter has been on my mind too much. Interesting. I do have a Discord server. All my links are below in the description. So if you go there, right here on YouTube, expand the description. All the links are in there. You can follow me at Lanterns Live everywhere except X. I don't really have anything against X really, but someone already took at Lanterns Live on X. So, but you can find me Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Linktree, everything. Here's the thing. Am I a fan of the suits not being made by the Ring? I'm not a fan. So like if like something's going to happen, you got to go climb into this suit, this bulky suit. I prefer the suits to be a construct, even though I understand that from Showcase 22, the very first appearance of Hal Jordan, he physically puts on Abin Sur's suit. So it is canon in the books that at one point the Green Lanterns put on their uniforms. But I do prefer a construct because there's so many cool images in the comics where like there's a famous like Tyler Kirkham page where it's Hal Jordan hold the ring and he's like half in his pilot suit and half in a Green Lantern uniform. I love those like transitional panels in the comics. So I prefer constructs. You have a good poker face for seeing episode 7 or seeing 7 episodes and hearing all of these theories. Can I tell you something, Sonny? I think about a month ago, I did a whole episode about who Laura Linney is playing in Lanterns, knowing full well already that she was a Guardian. And it was before it was announced, but I just wanted to do an episode where because there was a lot of speculation going around if she's Carol Ferris, if she was a Guardian, if she was something else. And that whole stream, I did that whole stream knowing full well that she was a Guardian. So the thing with the poker face is I don't want to give anything away because I think the show should be revealed to you the way that the creators intended. If there's stuff in the trailer that you spot, or there's stuff they put stuff in the trailers, I'll totally talk about that and speculate about that. There's something you guys probably didn't notice in the trailer. Might come up on Sunday. So I don't know if you want to get spoiled or anything, but I don't think this is a spoiler, but if you notice in the trailer, John does construct a canary from the ring, right? We saw that. Also, in the freeway chase, you can also see that canary. But look at John's finger. It's not there. But the canary is. So there's things out there that you can look for in the trailer if you're really, really closely looking. But, yeah. Just saw an interesting video by a guy who is of the opinion that the Lanterns being the good guys isn't really black and white. Never thought about it that way. Yeah, I mean, like Sinestro. Perfect character. And hopefully we learn more about Sinestro soon. Sinestro is a former Green Lantern who ruled pretty hard on his planet of Korugar, to the point where he was almost like making sure everybody the laws were like set in stone, and he oversaw Korugar to the point where it felt like he was basically making himself out to like the ruler of the planet, and he was basically protecting everybody and making everybody safe, but like kind of in a sort of militaristic fashion. So there are some Green Lanterns out there who maybe rule a little tougher than other Green Lanterns. The thing with that is Sinestro was Hal's mentor, and Hal may have gotten a lot of stuff, a lot of information and a lot of ideals from Sinestro, which could be construed as bad. So I can't wait to see how this show tackles that. The Discord link expired. Yeah, is there a way to have a permanent Discord link? Is there a way to go to Discord and just click in Lanterns Live? You know what I'll do is, while we're here, I'm going to take a quick breather, and I'm going to try to get you guys an updated Discord link into the chat. Copy link. Open YouTube. And we'll see if this works. There we go. So you should be able to get anybody who wants to join the Discord. We're chatting Green Lantern over there. Would asking what episode has your favorite construct be too much? Probably. I'm not even sure what my favorite construct is. The one that we see in the trailer, that giant drill, is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool construct. I'm also a big fan of the Canary. Will I be streaming after episode 2 drops? I will be streaming precisely when episode 2 drops. What I do is I come over here, I open up my my studio link here, set up my mic, set up my headphones, and last week the show ended. I sat through the credits. I got up, I walked in here, I started the stream. So I'll be here. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat. She really wants my attention. Let's see if I can. Oh, I was going to try to get her on the stream, but she ran away. I'm hoping John's outfit is comic accurate, because I'll tell you one thing I do not like in the Lantern show. I'm not a fan of Hal's suit. Yeah, when is Mongol popping up? I can't say how I saw the episodes, because they weren't just... It's secret. But I have. And if you don't believe me, that's the thing. I could be talking out my ass. You guys are trusting that I have seen them. I will say this, because I really don't want to give spoilers, but there's a pretty big name drop on Sunday's episode. You'll notice when you hear it. So here's the thing. I'm not a huge collector of action figures and stuff like that. I have a few PVC characters from like the 90s. And then I've been collecting like the McFarlane DC superhero or superpower line. You could see me doing unboxings of those on the channel here. But I'm not really a collector of figures, action figures. But if Hot Toys released a Hal Jordan, a Kyle Chandler Hal Jordan, like I'd have to start figuring out and start saving to get one of those for sure. And a John Stewart. I would definitely want those in like a Hot Toys, or maybe even if like Sideshow does it. Sideshow's a little bit cheaper than Hot Toys. They honestly probably would have had the suits be construct of the show. Yeah. If it was a movie, they'd probably have constructs. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I just want comic accurate suits. I'm not a fan of the one they got going on Hal. This I do not know. Do you know if the new Lantern's available for purchase? I would love to get my hands. Yeah. Listen, I don't think there's any official version of the Green Lantern power battery. You can find people making them on Etsy. They're 3D printing them. Some of them light up. I think as of right now, that's your only option. Maybe if the show does gangbusters, maybe we'll get a replica in the DC shop. But for right now, it's people doing it on Etsy. I'm not sure if John's ready for the ring. John seems pretty, like, I don't know, pretty ready, but we'll see. He constructed a ring in the Canary, and has to catch it to get at the ring. Is it like the snitch, like the golden snitch from that thing I don't really care for? I did not order my ring from the WB shop because they don't have it in my size. I got these big chunky hands, and I think I have a size 15 and a half, which apparently is the same size as Aaron Pierre's hands. So basically both of our hands, me and Aaron Pierre, are real muscular hands. So I did not get one. I've seen them. They're real good. If you fit into a 12 or less, I highly recommend it. I know it's like $70, but I am getting a ring from the Ring Foundry. So I'm looking forward to that. Like, I have the tracking number, and it's like I'm constantly refreshing to see where it's at. When is Kyle popping up and Alex being shoved into the fridge? I don't know if they'll do that. Yeah. Cops, don't trust them. Okay, cool. So Room Smack got into the Discord. Anybody else who wants to get into the Discord, just find the link here and join. There's not a lot of people in there, but we can keep the conversation going when I'm not here online. I think the constructs look great. I think they actually look better than Superman. Looking forward to Batman in the DCU. Yeah, but I really like the Batman, so I'm really looking forward to the Batman Part 2. Other than Lanterns, what's a project you like to see in the DCU? What would I like to see in the DCU? Boy, that's a tough one. I think Booster Gold would be cool, but I don't know if we're going to get there yet. Gosh, that's a tough one because I am so Green Lantern focused. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just go with, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing like a Batman Beyond. I think that'd be interesting. Something completely different. Yeah. You heard episode 5 is a bit on the slower side compared to the rest. Would you agree? I would like to know where you heard that. I would really. It's a name drop Liesel Pond. I don't know about that. Where did you hear that episode 5 was on the slower side compared to the rest? Because I'll say it's quite the opposite. Who said that? Who mentioned Madman? Oh, I know why. Yeah, I have a bunch of Madman stuff. Let me Bounty Hunter, let me know. No, if you're up for reading some Madman, these things are probably like 6 pounds each. What drew me over to liking GL over any other DC character? I don't know. When I was a kid, I'm a little bit older. I watched a show called Super Friends. I think it's still available somewhere on the internet. May even be on HBO Max. Yeah, it was just a Saturday morning cartoon, and for some reason, I just gravitated towards Green Lantern. I knew Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman, but that was my first exposure to Green Lantern. I hadn't heard of Green Lantern before that. So I was like, who's this guy? He felt like a new guy, and his ring could do cool things, and he flew and can go into space and stuff. So there was just something about that that yeah. Given Iron Man and Spider-Man had nanotech Venom suits, would it be weird for Green Lanterns not have that and just not make it cartoonish? Like if you like the constructs could be kind of nanotech, like the way Hal builds the dollar or the $20 bill, kind of builds itself in a way that's similar to like a nanotech thing. How would I compare Mark Strong Sinestro to Ulrich's? They're different. They're both good. When's the Gumby reboot? Man, I've been going for an hour, huh? Hour and 18 minutes. Yeah, I like the Gumby there. It shows like what time it is. So when I'm looking at the screen, I could see that back there, and it kind of lets me know. Yeah, you guys are looking at my wall, my Madman action figure, my Fireball Island board game. This is a Hal Jordan drawn by Joel Jones. That's a character I created called the Cricket, also drawn by Joel Jones. 3 pages of original Mike Allred Madman art. This is a crew hat that Damon Lindelof gave out to the crew of Lanterns that someone gifted me. This is a Rook that Bounty Hunter in the chat is letting me borrow, which I haven't had a chance to read yet. That's a Jar Jar Binks picture signed by Ahmed Best. This is another Madman image drawn by Mike Allred. It's a print. Can't really see this here, but that's a Madman drawn by Ryan Otley. And then there's some like Mike Allred stuff. My friend Kevin did this photo. My friend Oscar did this lino cut print. My friend Dustin did this lino cut print. And my friend Trader Brandon, that's his action figure. And then I have some 7-inch records here, and I always have the Billie Eilish "No Time to Die" single there. And if you look right here where I'm pointing, you can't really see it. I'm going to try to. So inside there is like a 3.5-inch Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern action figure, standing under my quarter scale XM statue of Kyle Rayner that my wife got me. What did I think of the Lanterns Escape Room at SDCC? I saw the walkthrough. I'm sure it ties to the show. I did not get in. Will from Green Lanterns Podcast, who just showed up, he went in and did some video that you could see on his channel. So go over to Green Lanterns Podcast here on YouTube. A new show called Hope. I mean, Garrett Dillahunt was in a show called Raising Hope. So maybe he's playing St. Walker. I heard episode 5 is peak. What's your opinion on the matter? Agree. Why everybody have inside info all of a sudden? I don't know. I don't know where people are getting this stuff where they have been hearing about the episodes. Who's out there like spilling the beans? I'm not sure I know who Grace Randolph is. Should I be following Grace Randolph? Is Grace Randolph cool? 31,000 followers on Instagram. She's an American film critic, YouTuber, and comic book writer. Okay. All right. So chances are she saw 7. Said it was a slow episode, huh? Interesting. Well, I'm here to say episode 5 is kind of nuts. I heard episode 5 was the 5th episode. What's your thoughts? I don't want to give away spoilers, but 100% episode 5 is, in fact, the 5th episode. Do you have a reading order on Discord for Gia? Holy shit, I don't. There's got to be one out there, and if I find it, I could link it on the Discord. Yeah. Will says there's great reading order guides on the Reddit. Yeah, check that out, because I mean, we're talking 67 years of Hal Jordan and like 71 years since Alan Scott, and like multiple books. Yeah, thank you, Will, for making me not have to like try to sort that out, because it's a lot. I still have a Ryan Reynolds GL bust. They need to make some figures or statues for lanterns. I agree. About Lanterns SEC stuff, the bar is the same plot in Lanterns. Owes money and keeps playing the same song over and over, same as the show. Was it? Did the bar really play Brand New Key? Grace Randolph, Ben Dookie. I mean, hey, a lot of us are out there trying to get it done. So if she's got the viewers, great. She beefs with Gunn often. Yeah. Okay. Unbelievable. He leaked the 5th episode as number 5, called Warner Brothers. He cracked. I read Earth 1, the volume 1, and I really enjoyed it. I think I read like half of volume 2. Maybe I should get back on that. That might be good for me. I thought it was good. Has nothing to do with the show, has nothing to do with the other comics. I think it's fine. It's an Elseworld thing. I'm glad you're good about not spoiling, although I'm curious, did you watch the episodes by Devious Means? I did not. It wasn't something I found on like Pirate Bay or whatever. I did not. Yeah, I would say read the current run of Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. Will I still get to interview Jeff Johns, or is that a long time away? So Jeff Johns, I'm in contact with him, and he wants to do the show. He's told me that he has agreed to come on the show. He is busy in August, and I was asked just to reach out again in September so that we could schedule something. So, boom, there you go. Jeff Johns will be on the show at some point. Keep your blue rings shining bright for that. Not saying anything about anything. What's your preferred medium for reading comics? I know there's a DC digital subscription service. I just purchased the individual issues on Kindle. I have the DC Unlimited, I think it's called, but unfortunately, they don't release the books right away. You have to wait a while, and since I want to cover the books as soon as possible, I download them on Kindle individually and read them right before I jump on to do the shows. So that's going to happen in a week from today. Will and I will be discussing Green Lantern 38. I don't know if James Gunn had anything to do with the writing on Lanterns, but I'm sure he had some sort of opinions on it. I know he's had conversations with Tom King and Chris Mundy and Damon Lindelof, so I'm sure there was maybe some input from him, but I think this is pretty hands off. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Jeff Johns as well. All right. Yeah, it's great having 3 Lanterns in the DCU. Maybe you only have 2. What's happening with Hal? I really don't know. Don't do that. That'd be a creep. Guys, I'm gonna get going. I am going to be making dinner. I let my wife know I'll be making dinner tonight. I am making shepherd's pie, one of the things I love making, and I haven't had it in probably like 6 months, and so I'm excited to do that. Let me know if you want a stream of me making shepherd's pie. I can always do that. I know Vactor, who covers the Green Lantern Corps issues with me, wants me to talk about cheeseburgers more. I probably won't do a stream about making shepherd's pie. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks to all the Honor Guard members. I can pop up the Honor Guard members real quick here, but there's still like 3 that I need to add who joined since Sunday. But I'm going to update this for this coming Sunday with everybody who's joined up in the last couple of days. Because we have more people signed up, I'm going to have a new emoji for you guys, and I think it's going to be John's Canary construct. So anybody who's part of the member stream that you could see over in the stream, any members who put in the unique emojis, I can show you. Actually, you know what? These are the emojis that we have so far. I'm going to show you so you can see. Boom. Check that out. So if you want to use those emojis, there's going to be another one added, and I think it's going to be the canary that John creates from the trailer, because that's going to become a little bit more of a thing on Sunday. So remember, if you don't believe that I've seen upcoming issue or episodes of of lanterns, just wait for that name drop. There will be a big name drop on Sunday. So that's my one little tease for this week's coming episode. Thank you, everybody. Oh my gosh, Sonny just joined the honor guard, and I don't think it's letting me post that here on Riverside. But thanks, Sonny. That's awesome. You're the best. And if you want to join, it's 99 cents. It's 99 cents, and you'll get, member only streams, and you'll get badges and emojis. So as you notice, Sonny has a white circle next to his name. That is the white circle of a Green Lantern trainee. And that'll change in 6 months to an Alan Scott battery. And then after that, it'll be a Green Lantern symbol, like you see with Darren. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll catch you guys on Sunday immediately following the airing of Lanterns episode 2. So until then, beware my podcast. It's Lanterns Live.